It's a Monday. Happy Monday. You know the drill. Busy, dead. Feels like both. It's a mixed bag. This go about. Good news, crummy news, just the life, being the life. So we talked about last time the whole going to get my shots on Tuesday thing, and that did work out. I ended up leaving work a little bit early, which was to my detriment later on. But like the first time you're gonna go to a place and it's really time sensitive that you gotta be there by a certain hour, and you gotta go like a bit early just to make sure that you're not gonna fuck it up and kind of get a baseline for how long this stuff takes. So I did get there. It was more than enough time. I'm sure I'll be able to do it after work, no problem. But it did mean that when I got out, like everything was closed. Because I probably got out of that place by like 6:30 at most, the clinic. And bars aren't going to be opening that early. The trans bar that I was telling you about was like, it was shut. There's no hours posted, so I don't know if it's just like a Tuesdays, nothing's going on, or if it's like, that they're closed, or if it's just that they weren't open yet. But the next time that I go, which will be tomorrow, I'm going to be going a little bit later. Hopefully, get out of the clinic around 7, and then have some dinner and see what it looks like. Club Lavender was gone. Like, the building was gone. Torn down. Completely gone. So that did suck, because that place would have at least have been open. But that's life. We'll figure it out. There's a lesbian bar that was across from where Club Lavender was, that was in the process of opening, but there was like a big sign on the outside in English. It said women only, and I'm women, but I don't know if they would read me that way. You could never really sure in predominantly cis lesbian places. Like, are trans women women? A lot of cis lesbians don't seem to think so. So, like, I didn't really want that kind of damage, so I just ended up going home. But, like, at least knowing that the clinic, the hours on Tuesdays, they're going to work out. That was good. On the Wednesday, went to do the face lasering at a different place than I'd done the first time. A much better choice. When I did the search in the Googles, and I put transgender in there. I don't know why I said it like that, but I put that in the search field as well, and it got me a place that they advertise, that they do a lot of work with the queer community, specifically advertising towards transgender folks in general, but, like nuances transgender women. So, like, I went there, I got to talk to the doc, and I didn't, it didn't, I felt like I could be upfront, like, right out of the gate, like, look, I'm trans, I want this shit gone, it's part of my transition, it makes me really uncomfortable, and, like, didn't have to worry about, like, am I gonna say something and they're gonna wonder, what's this going on with this gal? Is she really a gal, kind of thing? And so you're maybe not giving all the pertinent information. Like the first time I went to the face laser, the other clinic, and I didn't want them to read me differently, so being a little bit cagey about stuff. But like with this clinic, that it's called Epilage, if you are a trans galley who is in Tokyo and wants some decent work done at a relatively good price. Recommend it. It's in Kabukicho. But yeah, like I could be like right up the front with him and be like, yeah, here's my situation, and I was able to talk much more clearly about my concerns and what I wanted. And he was like, oh yeah, and like we can help you. Don't worry about the white hairs. We got a setting for that. Science. It's great. The laser that they used was way stronger than the one. It felt like it was way stronger than the one that they used at the first clinic. Because I felt it. It was very zippy zappy. But it was great. Like there is an appreciable notice. There's much less, and there wasn't a lot before, but there's much less on there now. He said, the 5 sessions 10 sessions would definitely be too much, because they had like a 5-session, 10-session package. Like probably 5 sessions should be more than enough. And if it takes a little bit longer, you could work out something. We'll do like a 3-session package if absolutely necessary. Make sure that we're not overcharging you. The 5-session package was just 10,000 yen more than the 1 session that I did at the previous place. So that was like really great. That was all a very positive experience. We'll be going back there next week. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on both with the clinic and with both clinics. what's going to go on with like the Shogatsu holiday period? Like if they're closed for that, I got to take a look at like, is my timing going to put me at need for like a shot while, everything is closed for New Year's, and how that's going to be handled, but we'll figure that out. So that stuff was really good. I went out on, wait, hold on. Face Lasers was Monday. What? Yeah, that was after we recorded the video, the diary video. So, Wednesday, I went out and got a new pair of boots. I ended up getting a pair of docks. I wasn't really wanting docks. I just wanted to get like a nicer pair of work boots. I set myself a hard limit at 15,000 yen. Because usually what I've been doing since I've been working jobs that I don't got no money, I'd get a pair of pretty crummy work boots, 4,000 yen, and they would be worn almost through in 6 months. 8 months was like, between 8 months and 12 months, they would be completely unwearable within that period. So I'm buying like a new pair of boots every year, or more. And they're uncomfortable. They wear out really quick. They're not real leather. And I just was like, well, I've got this buffer money, and a good pair of boots that's gonna last is a worthwhile investment for that kind of cash. So I was like, go to a workshop, it's got all the work gear and shit, where I used to go when I was doing demolition, and I'll see if like they've got a pair of boots that's better than what I was getting, but still within that like 15,000 yen range, and make that an investment. The boots they had were somehow even worse quality than the ones that I'd been buying, which I don't know. Like, this is a shop that specializes in gear for folks that are doing like construction, demolition, like where foot protection is real important. And like, why are you shafting these folks on footwear? That's like, I didn't even know. I was really pissed off. So, because I'd gone like pretty far out of my ballywick to get to this place. So I ended up like going into Kichijoji, which is, about a half-hour walk away from where I was. And just like looking around there's like a lot of used shops there, and I was like, well, I've gotten boots at used shops before, try it out. And I found a pair of docks that were 13,000 yen, which is like the last time I bought a pair of used docks, it was like 22,000. This was probably 10 years ago. I'm really hoping that these being used were hopefully produced before the giant quality drop-off in docks, but we'll see how that works out. But hopefully this will be a pair of boots that, like my first pair of docks, lasted 6 years, and my last pair of docks lasted, yeah, I think like about 6 or 7 years before like the leather had completely worn through. So yeah, because like if I could get a pair of boots that just is gonna last and be comfortable forever, relatively forever, like that would be great. So I love that. That was really good news. Although we are in that like push me pull use stage of like breaking in the boots and also breaking in my ankles, where like I need the boot leather to stretch out a little bit more, but I also need the skin on the back of my ankles to toughen up a little bit more. So it's real uncomfortable right now, but hopefully we're on the backside of that. We hope. So that's pretty good news. Then the crummy news. So there was this event last night. It was run by I think a wife and wife duo. It's called Waifu, and they do like kind of these DJ bar things, music. People go dance, hang out. They're like very explicitly queer, and more importantly, they're like very explicitly pro-trans women, which was, that's something that I'm looking for. I understand that even like within trans communities, that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's going to be like decent. You got like trans medicalists who are really shitty about other trans women. So like I do understand that that is a possibility, but I kind of feel like I have an easier time maybe finding people with similar interests to myself among a queer community that's at least going to recognize being trans and hopefully being okay with that, than finding communities for interests that I have, like horror movies or games or shit, that are okay with trans folks. I know that's not necessarily true, but like it feels true-ish. So I get out to, I got this flyer from a friend. They were going to show up like later because they had another thing that they had to do earlier in the day. Then I got the flyer. It's got the address. I get out after work, and work was long. Work has been real long recently, and it's end of month, so like my headspace is really bad already. But I make an effort. I say I'm gonna do this thing. I don't know what's gonna come from it. I don't know what I want from it, but like I'm gonna put myself out. I got to take these steps. We talk about how isolated that I am, and not a small part of that is just the fact that I isolate myself. I realize this, so I do it, and I get out there, and I can't. I can't find the place, but I can find the place. It's like get to where the address is, and there's like a wall, like a partition metal divider kind of wall thing, like panels, not really partitions, but panels that look like they're supposed to slide out into an entranceway with like a courtyard behind it. You can't really see. You can see like under it because there's a gap. You can see people's feet and hear people talking and music going on, but it's closed. And the chalks are in at the bottom of the door, which usually so that it doesn't open anymore. And I'm walking around this event, like this space. There's like a lot of there's buildings. It's underneath the railway, so you got like buildings going down. They're really really tight up close to each other. There's restaurants and bars, and there's like a fake casino. I know I said like that. It's like a casino where you can't like actually gamble with money, but you're doing all the casino shit. Which like what's the point? But like there's no other entrance to get in. The other side of it is all back sides of the buildings, and it's all fenced off completely. Like no windows, nothing. It's just if you've seen the, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. So there's no way in on that end. There's no connecting building on the other side. Like this is the only entrance, possible entrance, and it's closed. There's no signage. There's no nothing. I can hear people, and I'm pretty sure it was the event. Folks have a certain vocal quality to them when you got a lot of queer people in one space. And it was just like, it was immensely frustrating. And my feet are hurting, and I'm said I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do this thing, and I'm doing the thing. I'm taking the steps that I'm supposed to take, and I can hear it on the other side of this wall, and I don't know how to get into it. And if that's not a fucking metaphor, I don't know what is. I almost started crying on the way home. Like, it was real close. And the only thing that stopped me was like, okay, you're in a very public place, like around a bunch of people, some of whom are drunk, and people react real weird about public displays of like uncontrolled weeping. And that's not damage that we need tonight, on top of everything else. So I ended up going home. I got this message from my friend who finally was coming out, and I'd messaged them, and I said, look, I can't with this, I'm going home. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, you must be so disappointed. And my first reaction was to brush it off, like to make the funny joke, like, no, it's not a real big deal. Life's full of disappointments. I'll get over this one. I've gotten over plenty before. Ha ha ha. Don't worry about it. But I didn't send that message. But it's I hate that that's my first response. I hate that that's my first response, is that I can't just say, I'm really hurt. Like, I'm really hurt. I'm really sad about this. I'm really, really disappointed, even though I didn't know what I wanted from this. Like, I wanted something, and it was right there, and I couldn't get into it. And I just want to say, honestly, and I can't. I gotta be like tough, jaded bitch who's been through everything, and like, whatever, nothing, whatever. It's just, and it ain't whatever, but I don't know. I don't know. This got away from me. So we're probably just gonna wrap it up here. I'm in a spot. Not really a great spot. Going into December. December is super busy. December's always busy. There's always too much to do, and don't know if I'll get all of it done. I'm at this kind of crossroads. Things have got to change. Yeah, that's it, really. Look, not all of these are going to be happy. some of these are gonna suck. This one sucks. But I'm alive. I ain't happy. I'm alive. And that's always the first step. I got these beans I'm gonna have to boil because the curry's gotta go on. And life's gotta go on. And I've gotta do it. So, that's just it. So, yeah. For me, Risuko, here in Tokyo. To all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you. Arigato, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.